And we want to remind you to join us this Sunday night on Valley News Live at 10 as we mark the one-year anniversary of last summer's deadly ambush on police in Fargo. We'll be honoring Officer Jake Walling and showing you several previously untold exclusive stories from the heroes of that day. We speak with the ambulance personnel and the surgeons who helped save the lives of the officers involved. They talk about the chaos of the emergency room and the scramble to save lives that night. Plus, hear from Officer Zach Robinson and Andrew Dotis and Fargo's police chief, reflecting on that day, their personal journeys of recovery and what's next. We also talked to North Dakota Attorney General Drew Wrigley, who led the investigation into the mass shooting. He recalls the chaos and bravery that day, gives insight into the investigation, and reflects on what officials have learned. You can watch our July 14th special this Sunday. Again, that's Valley News Live at 10.